Morning, guys. Got me coffee. Guys, seriously, butter coffee. Let's get it on the camera. I don't know if it's done its show. Right, which camera are we on? We're on this one or this one? Right, we're on the up camera. Morning to you. So, not awake yet. We got Linda and Lorna. So it's Louis in the Southwest UK defending Elvis Presley. I wanted to try and make a video that's a bit less serious. I still want to do more about the Memphis Mafia. There's a lot more I want to do with the Memphis Mafia. But this morning, I thought we could watch a documentary together and just cut into it. And is Lorraine on? She's saying hi. We're live. Lorraine, we're live now. Lorraine's messaging me. So you know what? I had a nice feedback from Deborah Shaw. You know Deborah Shaw, that we read out her post yesterday, which really pleased me, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. So I'm just checking a few things. A few of you are sending me things. Right, okay. Let me just, someone forwarded me a clip. Before we do the documentary, someone sent me an interview with Riley Keough, just a short clip of an interview. I thought, I want to play that. I didn't watch it. I've purposely not watched it, so we could watch it for the first time together. I don't know how recent it is. So I'll just quickly press play on it. And we'll just, I'll put it on my little stand. I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know what it's about, but is it recent? You tell me. Let's have a look. Let's get it up.
No, it's amazing. I think the funniest thing would probably be like the kind of mother I thought I was going to be versus what I end up being, you know? Yeah. Like it's a little more messy, a little, yeah. And it's sort of like, you know, like I thought I would never do screen time or like sit in the park and lay and have picnics all day or whatever you think. And it's like you do like a 10-hour airplane flight and then you're like, here, watch TV.
Or just you get home from work and you're like, please watch this, I need a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I thought I would be different too, but it changes because life, you don't account for all the busyness.
Yes.
And it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's wonderful. It's pretty cool. Well, today is National Sleepover Day. Mm-hmm. What's a fun sleepover you've had since we're celebrating?
Well, I have to say, like, I had a really fun sleepover last night because my two best friends from childhood are in New York with me.
Oh, that's so fun.
And we've been friends since we were 3 and 4.
Wow.
I know.
That's like really good friends.
I know, very good friends.
Yeah.
They're like sisters. And we like all smushed in one bed last night.
Yeah.
So I had a national sleepover last night.
Why is this weird? This is weird to some people. Yeah. You in honor of sleepover night?
Yeah. But it's like, I have to say, like, it's really nice to do as an adult. Like, you don't really have sleepovers as a grown.
Well, see, that's where I was going. So, see, people think that's weird, but I'm 42, and I'm like, I just went to like Amsterdam, and I'm with like family and friends, and usually we all like bunk up. Like we're like, oh, well, we don't need the whole like, you know. So usually 2 girls will be in each room, kind of thing. Yeah. And then somebody was like, that's weird, and I'm like, is it? I don't think that's weird.
It's not weird. It's wonderful. And the funny thing is like now people have so many different ways to sleep. Like I notice when I sleep with adults who are not my husband. Like some people will be like, I listen to podcasts or I need a sound machine. And we were going to sleep and it was so quiet and I need the sound machine, like very loud, like in my ear. So I can't think. And
I need some kind of I have like rainstorms.
Yes, rainstorms, farm animals, like anything.
Yeah. Wow. I don't want to.
Let me explain that to you. There's a specific. I'll explain. There's a specific. It was actually very funny because like on the Calm app, I don't know if anyone has that.
I Calm. Yeah.
There's like rainstorm in the forest, rainstorm on the farm, and I was kind of like, oh, I'll try the farm. Like I've never tried that one before. Yeah. Normally I'll do the forest or the window, and I put it on, and it's like it's rain on the farm, and then like slowly like the farm animals will start like mooing, and then like a rooster.
This does not sound common.
I know, a rooster will start, whatever that is.
I'm going to 100% go home and Google this tonight.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Well, I found this interesting. I did not know this about you. You sang on a Lady Gaga record?
It's funny because I sang on an Orville Peck record, but it was a Lady Gaga song. And I really am in the real deep background. Like you can barely hear me. But
how did that happen?
It happened because Orville and I now we're friends, but we had the person who produces his music and he writes with is a really good friend of mine. So he just kind of was like, can you come in? And like, he wanted to do background vocals and he wanted male and female kind of a thing.
Yeah. You can barely hear it. That's my favorite. Backgrounds are my...
Sure, I think we'll watch it in a few minutes at a time. So I've never watched this interview. Do any of you know when this was done? Let's have a look. May the 9th, 2024, and it was Kelly Clarkson. I just find it interesting. Has any of you watched that interview? I want to watch it because I don't often see her in interviews that long. Are any of you aware of it? So let's just watch a couple more minutes. I'll give you a chance for more people to join us.
Favorite. It was so fun.
It's such because you're providing texture for the track, and you can make your voice sound in
that
different
texture
ways.
is me.
That is my texture.
My texture.
I changed that song with my texture. No, it is true. The backgrounds are so important. Yeah. They can really elevate a vibe.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was very fun, and
that's cool.
And then I met Orville after, and it's funny. Like it was like a big song, and it's very cool.
I know. I love that. So, what was it? Speaking of music, what did you listen to growing up?
Oh my gosh, I listened to. Well, it depends on what age.
Okay. Like really young.
Really young.
Morning,
like 8
Helen.
to 10. Well, I loved. I mean, I will say this every interview I ever do, but I loved Hanson. Loved Hanson, Spice Girls.
It's a very talented band, by the way. It's more than just bop. I did hear we've covered them before, and I was like, wow, they're great musicians.
By the way, they're incredible musicians, and I knew this as a kid. I was like, they're so.
I was ahead of the game.
I was like, this is not just a boy band. They are very talented musicians.
They really are.
Yeah. I know, and I guess Hanson was the big one. Spice Girls, we loved. What else? Like. Jewel.
Love some pop. Oh, well, yeah.
I love Jewel. That was my first tape.
Yeah.
I had a Jewel tape.
I'm older. Mine was Paula Abdul.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was black. I thought it was so cool. Yeah. We've got two projects out right now. One is Under the Bridge on Hulu. The other is called Sasquatch Sunset, which is on demand starting May 14th. Here is what Riley looks like in Sasquatch Sunset.
I'm really interested. It's interesting. You censored my.
You censored we thought that Sasquatches might be offended, so we censored the Sasquatch boobies. Boobies is a funny word. So anyway, I was like, why did I say that on TV? I did it. Did you ever see Harry and the Hendersons?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
This is like the family.
It is. It was one of the films I watched before shooting this movie.
I know. I watched it as a child. I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not like a lot of Sasquatch research to do. Yeah. So that was one of them.
Dive in.
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly on YouTube, there's a lot of Sasquatch
there's a lot of
footage in the wild. So that was helpful.
Okay. I have a lot of trail cams up on my land. I've never seen a Sasquatch, just letting you know. So what was it like to be in that role? Like you had to do some kind of prep though, I hear. Like for movement?
We did Zoom prep at first, which was funny. And that was just sort of getting the hang of the Sasquatch walk and
now how does one know how a Sasquatch walks?
It's a good question. we sort of based it off there's a famous 1970s video of a Sasquatch sighting, and it's, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like he's walking through the
black and white, and
and then he kind of looks over his shoulder, and it's like a famous, it's kind of what the shape that all the Sasquatch stuff, like if there's a pin or a hat and they're walking, it's the sort of like position they're in. So we took that and worked backwards from that, and that became that sort of famous video, and that became the walk that we were trying to do. And then we went into like what we call a Sasquatch boot camp.
I love your job.
I know, it's really interesting. So we did like 2 days with a movement coach, and he would basically teach us how to interact with one another, like it was a lot of watching videos of apes and kind of moving like apes.
I'm gonna. There's about 3 minutes left. I do want to watch all of it. I'm just quickly gonna speak to you guys. So you know, when it comes to Riley Keough, I really feel like we don't really know her. So I always find anything that comes up that's got Riley Keough in it, I want to watch it. I sort of want to binge watch it because I still feel like I don't know Riley. I've watched quite a few interviews. I've seen her in quite a few films. There's a film on YouTube. I think it's called The Good Doctor, and it's free on YouTube. And she's a good actress. I did try to watch the document. No, not the documentary. Was it the Netflix series? I didn't take to it very well. Have any of you watched the Netflix series that she was in, where she plays a singer? Is she based on Janis Joplin? I'm not sure. I didn't take to it. Did any of you watch that? Please let me know. So I just feel like we need to watch a lot more about Riley Keough. I really do. Get a feel for her, because I personally feel a bit of a disconnect. I love Riley. I know you can really tell she's a lovely person. She's got a whole different life, hasn't she? Doesn't she live in Australia with her stuntman husband? And obviously we've got baby Tupelo. So I just feel that we still need to get to know her. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys? Obviously, she has a different look. It's not like Lisa Marie, just so obviously completely took after her father in her mannerisms, in her tone of voice, the way she sang, even her body language, the way she moved. Just Lisa Marie had that Elvis. It was so clearly obvious that it was Elvis's daughter. Whereas Riley, I don't really see that. Am I the only one that thinks this? With Riley, I see, I would say she's completely individual in her look, in her style. I would say different than Elvis. I think she's a really good actress, mind. I think she's a brilliant actress. So what do you guys think? Yeah, again, we'll talk about I'll just quickly say something, and then I'll pray the last piece of that bit. Yes, we as Elvis fans, we are worried about Elvis's legacy. We're worried about Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises. We're worried how the Gracelands will be managed. We've learned on here that Gracelands is leased to Elvis Presley Enterprises. So yes, Riley Keough owns it, but we have strong views about the agreements between Priscilla and Riley. Obviously, when Lisa Marie Presley passed away, God rest her soul, we know about the legal dispute to do with Lisa Marie Presley's last wishes for the trust fund. From what I've learned, initially, Priscilla felt that she should be joint trustee with Riley, which makes no sense. It's complete madness. There's no way that once Lisa Marie Presley died, there should have been any hint of Priscilla staying on as trustee at Graceland. No way Yeah. I personally, you know my views, guys. I personally think Priscilla made a lot of mistakes with the trust fund, you know, on behalf of Lisa Marie. I've got strong views about the 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises being sold off. I just don't think it ever should have happened. We know that Priscilla, on both sales, because I think there was 2 sales, we know that Priscilla was given a lump sum of money. Yeah, I can hear the dog barking. Given a lump sum of money on both sales, even sold the name Presley, as part of the first Elvis Presley Enterprise deal, the 85% sell-off with Bill Silliman. And I have this old-fashioned thing that all of that should have stayed with the Presleys and the bloodline. So I don't like the fact these billionaires or millionaires came along with their big corporations, big companies, and have 85% say of what happens at Graceland and what happens with Elvis Presley Enterprises. I just don't like it, because I just feel that we're dealing now as fans, you and me, Team Elvis, fans around the world, we're not dealing with the Presleys anymore. We're dealing with Joe Weishankar. No offense to Joe Weishankar, and I know that his wishes are that he wants everything that happens at EPE and at Gracelands to be what he feels that Elvis would have wanted, what Lisa Marie would have wanted, and obviously he wants to keep Riley and the twins happy. But we are still dealing with Joel. Yeah, we're still having to listen to, no offense to Jack Sodden, we're still hearing non-family members talking about the future of Gracelands and Elvis Presley Enterprises, and I find that uncomfortable. I would love it if Riley Keough took the helm properly and introduced herself to us, the Elvis fans, and I'd love to have seen Riley Keough at Elvis Week, because I think Elvis deserves that at Elvis Week. You know, even the candlelight vigil. In my opinion, Riley should be there. So should the twins. Yeah. And I don't say that in a negative way, because I have a lot of love for Riley and for the twins. I think we as fans would love to see more of them. I know that they're only 16, the twins, but we, the fans, we want to see Riley Keough and the twins. We want to see them show their love for their bloodline, for Lisa Marie, for Elvis. We want to see a connection there. I personally think that we're missing a bit of a connection. And I say it very respectfully, very respectfully. So let me just quickly read your comments. But do you guys get where I'm coming from? Come on. Remember, I'm just a fan at home. Yeah. It's none of my business. I have no right in the way of to say anything, really. It's their family, their business. But that's just how I feel. Yeah. Let's have a look. Right. Colleen, I think Riley seems lovely. I just hope she is loyal to the Presley legacy. And this is sort of what I'm saying. Thank you. Right, so Vibex, I know zero about her, but I'm sure she's a great person. Vibex, I agree. I do think she's lovely. Yeah, I have done some research on Riley, quite a lot actually, because I have done videos in the past and live streams and proper videos covering Riley, and she is lovely. But I still feel a disconnect when it comes to the legacy with Elvis and Graceland, and with the fans, with the Elvis fans, especially the older generation of Elvis fans that grew up with Elvis, you know, through the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. I still feel that hasn't been sorted. I know that they had the Christmas special, which I do think was her way of going, look, I'm in charge now. Look what I've created, the Christmas special. So that was a good initial takeover. Yeah. But since then, it's all gone a bit quiet. We know about the book release. We know that she's doing a tour around the world with this book that was written by her mother, and which we love. All of us love the fact this book is coming out. But really, that's it, isn't it? Isn't it just those two things? Everything else is just small snippets of interviews. So we are still, learning as we go when it comes to Riley Keough. Let's have a look. I see Lisa Marie in Riley and saw Elvis in Benjamin. Yes, I agree with that. Thank you, Rosalind. Right, so Jane's back. Jane, I'm on the bus. It's back. Right, let's have a look. I think it can be very hard to carrying a legacy. This is Geo. I think we shouldn't try to put her in the shadow. I definitely don't want to put her in the shadow. 100%. I really embrace Riley. Really embrace her. It may be right. So Colleen, it may be difficult for her to carry on with Graceland's and everything that goes along with it. She didn't know Elvis, so it may not be as important to her as it was to Lisa Marie. Wow, that's quite a comment, Colleen. I don't think we can ever compare the closeness that Riley had with Elvis, her grandfather, but I completely understand what you're saying about the closeness between Elvis and Lisa Marie. There's nothing ever is going to come anywhere close to that. Of course, we know that they were like that, Elvis and Lisa Marie. But I will say this: this is to Colleen. The closeness that Lisa Marie had with Riley was very close. I would say very similar. I think that Riley and Lisa Marie were just as close as Elvis and Lisa Marie. I really believe that. I think they had a brilliant connection. I think Riley was very, very close with Benjamin as well. So that says a lot. That says a lot. How you are with your brother, with your mother, how the closeness there says a lot about Riley as a person. And you can see the way that Riley is now with her father, with Danny. You can see the bond, you can see the closest. I've seen the clips and the Instagram and the TikTok and the little video clips that come out. It's very obvious that Riley is super close to Danny. So let's have a look. I feel sorry for Riley. Let's have a look. I feel sorry for Riley. Lisa's death was so unexpected. Riley had been thrown in at the deep end, but she handled the scammer so thick. I think business-wise, Riley has got some pretty good people around her. And then when things are going wrong, she's straight on it. She is on it. And like you say, with the scammer, the Graceland scam, I can tell she's a savvy lady. She's a smart lady, not just as an actress. She's smart. Yeah, she knows how to do big business. I definitely think that. I would never underestimate Riley. Never. So Linda says she's a smart woman. I agree. And then let's have a look. I'll just go through your comments. Linda, yes, I feel. Let's have a look. Sorry, I jumped up then. I don't want to miss any of your comments. Okay. Right. Hi, Tracy. So I'm just seeing you guys coming on. Hi, Helen. Linda, yes, I feel bad for her. Also, just as she was starting her own family and she lost her mum and had all of this thrown in her lap. Yeah. Colleen, yeah. Could you imagine how daunting that is for her? How, it's almost unimaginable, isn't it? Suddenly to have this legacy thrown into your lap. She must have sleepless nights. Let's have a look. Tracy. Morning, Tracy. I feel incredibly sorry for Lisa's girls. Riley inherited some stressful decisions to make. Lisa's sudden death must have been devastating. We need to give her time to acclimate to her new role. I agree with that, Tracy. I think what Tracy's really saying is give her a chance. It's been, it hasn't been that long since Lisa Marie, God rest her soul, passed. And we are here to defend Lisa Marie as well. Yeah, and Riley and Finley and Harper. We defend the bloodline. I know we're called Defending Elvis Presley. Fans want the truth. We are defending Elvis Presley, Benjamin, Riley Keough, and the twins. We are. So to me, the bloodline is very important. Yeah. No matter what the last name is, the bloodline is important, which is why I wish Elvis Presley Enterprises was still owned by Riley and the legacy. And the family. We're talking billions of pounds, aren't we? It's probably never going to happen. I am uneasy at Joe Weishanker being 85% owner of the company, but not just that. The fact that they leased Graceland. So many fans don't know this. That Elvis Presley Enterprises also has leased 85% of Graceland, the whole lot, all of it, the museum, the land around it, all of Elvis's belongings. It's leased. The tour, the tour that we all dream of doing. Many of you have done it. And I think the Bill Silliman deal, the lease was part of the deal. I think they paid a one-off rent of $3 million. It was a 90-year lease, or could have been 99-year lease. And yes, Riley Keough still owns the building like a landlord. But all of the running of Graceland is handled by Elvis Presley Enterprises. And there's no rent now. There was a rent paid initially, I think it was around 2005. I know that it all changed hands again around 2015, I think. This is when Joe Weishanker steps in. I do get my dates wrong, guys. But I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm uncomfortable that the lease of Gracelands is owned by Elvis Presley Enterprises. And I know many of you will jump in and say, well, you needed a big company to manage it because there's quite a few companies that are running it. Yeah, it isn't just Joe Weishanker's one company. I think it steps down to different companies that are running different aspects of EPE, because there's so many, and Elvis Presley and Gracelands. Yeah. So my point is, I don't like it. I don't like it. Who am I? I'm just a guy at home in his kitchen talking about Elvis and Riley Keough and the twins and the bloodline and Elvis Presley Enterprises and Graceland. I just don't like it. What do you guys think? Do you think it's okay that all those years ago that Elvis Presley Enterprises in the deal was also given the lease of Gracelands? We are giving the impression that Riley Keough is the owner, and she is. She does own the building. And then obviously when the twins get older, it will be shared between all three of them. But the bottom line is the running of the business, the tour, the Elvis tour, Elvis's Living Museum, is run by EPE. And Riley does still have a 15% say on, I think, the running of the lease. Yeah, I think. I'm not actually sure of that. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with it, guys. Anyway, let's read a few more of your comments. But anyway, Tracy's point. Yes, we do need to give time for Riley to settle in. She's gone through hell. She's gone through a terrible time. Everything must be difficult for her at the moment. She's gone through some lawsuit problems, gone through the Graceland scammer, of course, the loss of her beautiful mother. And in a funny way, she's the new parent of the twins, isn't she? She sort of took on a parenting role when it comes to Finlay and Harper. So, yes, very tough. But she seems very upbeat, very happy. When you see her in the interview, she's a positive person, very ambitious. But I also see that she has distanced herself in her life. You put me right, guys. Does she live in Australia? Obviously, we know about beautiful Tupelo, and her husband seems like a lovely man. So she's also going through a great time in her life because she has the starting of a new family. So this is just me airing how I feel, how I see things from a distance as an Elvis fan. Riley probably had her life and career figured out, and then she was thrown in a curveball. It must have been a huge adjustment. Now that is so true. But I will say this. It was obvious Lisa Marie wasn't well. Of course, we didn't think she was going to die. That's just so extreme. But we know, guys, at those Golden Globe Awards, that she was a very, very sick-looking woman. We have to admit that. So Riley, I don't know how did Riley must have known she was very unwell. I don't think she thought she was going to die. What are your views, guys? Please, in your comments, tell me your views. Let's have a look. Tracy, in Daisy Jones, she showcased her vocal abilities. Her singing voice is lovely. Yeah, she sings. I agree. It didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because I'm in the UK. I didn't like it. I liked her. I didn't like Daisy Chain. So Tracy, I love that in Daisy Jones. She used Elvis's guitar strap, the one that he used in the comeback special. She was giving a nod to her grandfather. I saw that immediately. Yes, of course. And we want more of that, don't we, Tracy? We want more of that. Being proud. Obviously, we saw it on the Christmas special. Yeah. I hope she had a good attorney to protect her, because I'm sure that the vultures are going to be circling. I think you're right, Colleen. Right, Tracy, EPE is not a family business anymore. In order to take it to the next level, it needed a successful big business organization. I don't agree. I know about the lovely, massive expansion plans and the amazing stuff that has gone on around Graceland. I don't agree. I will never agree that you have to sell off the company, Elvis Presley Enterprises, to expand. They could have done it in a different way. They could have had different management teams in place that were managing everything on their behalf. It's different now. Now you have a massive companies. I could Google it now and tell you the structure, but obviously, and they are making the profit. The profit is going in their pocket. Yeah. Yes, there's expansion. Joel Weishenker has big plans. Bill Silliman had big plans, and they've all done amazing things. It never had to be owned by outside of the family legacy, outside of the family bloodline. So I totally disagree with Tracy on that point. I do agree that expansion was needed. I do agree with that. It should have stayed within the Presleys. Yeah. I always think that, guys. I'm too, can I say it? It means too much to me to accept that a big company has to jump in and make all the profits, even if there's investment. Even me, I run a family business with my twin brother. I wouldn't sell it off to another company to run it on my behalf. I will make sure it stays within the family, my family, yeah. And then when I die, and my twin brother will pass it on, and the family will carry on running our businesses. I'm not going to sell it to some big corporation that wants to give all the profit away. No, that's just me. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, guys. So I hope she had a good attorney to protect. Right, so let's have a look. Coley, you make a good point. Now, we don't know clearly what was agreed, but in there somewhere, it does say something that if the bloodline, I'm guessing this is the ownership of Gracelands, yeah, and the 15% of EPE that Riley still retains. There's something in there where if all of the Presley bloodline dies and there's none left, that 40% of Riley Keough, the Riley Keough's ownership with the twins, if they all died, 40% of it goes to Scientology. Now, I want to see the actual documentation so we can accurately talk about this. But there's something there, guys. Scientology has got their foot in the door. We know that Navarone as well. There's, something is in place for Navarone as well. Right, so Linda, as she had to deal with the whole Priscilla thing as well, I know. Linda, you're right. Even that whole Priscilla thing, come on, it's a mess. We don't agree with what Riley agreed to give Priscilla of being buried there. The Navarone thing, we don't agree with the $400,000 legal costs and the one-off $1 million payment. And even if she's on, I think she's on a yearly or monthly salary from Graceland as an advisor, we don't agree with any of it. I feel that Riley has been too soft with Priscilla. It's a difficult one. She's trying to keep her grandmother happy and avoid lawsuits. So I do think when it comes to Priscilla, Riley has to toughen up. Really believe that. Right, let's have a look. So Helen, Paul Riley has had to deal with Michael Lockwood's demands and gave Lisa Marie a hard time over their divorce. 100%, Helen. This legal suit and the amount of money that was agreed to give to Lockwood. I haven't really done a video on this. I think Presley Mania did. Rhonda did it, didn't she? And he's a greedy man. He needs to go and get a job. This is my opinion. Michael Lockwood is a greedy man. He needs to go and get a job, sort himself out. If he thinks he's a rock star, go and earn some money for your kids, mate. That's my attitude. I don't think Elvis would like it. I don't like the way the Smiths are treated. I agree. Sandra, hope you're well. The Smiths have been outed, and it's wrong. And come on, they should be at the candlelight. They should be at Graceland's Elvis Week. They should have been invited into Graceland's again and again and again. So so when it comes to Joel Weishanker, it makes me wonder, why doesn't he break, sort of, how can I say it, reconnect the Smiths with Graceland's? Why doesn't he do that? He wants to do the right thing on behalf of Elvis. He's always said this. If Elvis would have wanted it, then I want it. If Lisa Marie wants it, then I want, yeah? He wants to keep Riley happy, keep the twins happy. How about keep the Smiths happy? Come on, Elvis did love Billy. He loved Billy. He did. He clearly did. And the Baz Luhrmann film and the Priscilla film, it's almost like they didn't exist, isn't it? Same with the ex-girlfriends. Never mentioned. I don't think it's right. I do think the ex-girlfriends deserve a say in everything. Because the truth is, we know as fans that Priscilla, in our opinion, the way she treated Elvis, I think, to me, this is my opinion, is wrong on many levels. Wrong on many levels. So the girlfriends that were good to Elvis, that Elvis loved, I know there was a few that are less well known, but there's many. They should have a mention. They should have a mention. They should be involved in movies and documentaries, biographies, and all the rest of it. They should have the part they played with Elvis. People have got strong views about Linda Thompson, good and bad, but she does deserve a mention. Obviously, you've got the YouTube film. What's it called again? It's Elvis Presley and the Beauty Queen, I think it's called. It's on YouTube, yeah. It's obviously was from the 80s. And it's with the guy off Miami Vice, Don Johnson. But that gives you an idea. I know some of you don't like that film. I like it. It gives you an idea of the girlfriend thing and the sort of how they met and the life that she had with him and then how things unfolded while she was with him. I know a lot of you have strong views about Linda Thompson. We do quite a few videos covering Linda Thompson. People want Ginger Alden to be mentioned. People think they were together 8-9 months. They were possibility that they were definitely going to get married at Christmas and Elvis spoke to her about having children. We know about the engagement. We know about the ring that was specially made. We all know the stories. Some of you think that 100% they were going to get married one day and Elvis would have gone on to have children and that Elvis was getting better and that he was excited for the forthcoming tour. Some of you think that the whole thing was fake and Elvis was looking to get a different girlfriend and that it was just an engagement. It would never have gone any further and that she was too young for him. And it was just a bit of a fling. Yeah. Now, I do like Ginger Alden. I will say this. I'll be honest, guys. I like Ginger Alden. She comes across very genuine. And she speaks really well of Elvis. She hasn't, in my mind, she's not at all betrayed him. Not at all. I also like Linda Thompson. I think Linda Thompson is great. But Linda has said a few things that probably didn't need to be said. And also, Linda, you fans, the Elvis fans, do think that she, money-wise, took advantage of Elvis. So, you know, strong views, guys. But I do think there are certain things in Elvis's life that happened in the last few years of his life, yeah? So, you know, in the 70s, yeah? That are basically treated as if they never happened. And a lot of you blame Priscilla for that. Many of you feel that Priscilla has tried to rewrite history and act like the girlfriends never existed. Linda never happened. Ginger Alden never happened. We've got the story of when I'm going to the funeral that Priscilla had her own aeroplane and was brought to the funeral, and that she didn't allow certain people on that aeroplane, especially ex-girlfriends. Yeah, is that true? Please put me right on that, guys. So, yeah, history is being rewritten by the Elvis and Me book. Yeah, by the Elvis and Me book, but also on Priscilla's actions. So she's tried to portray Elvis's life, you know, through TV series, through movies and documentaries, and the new Priscilla film, the Sofia Coppola's version, as if Elvis had his, you know, came from humble beginnings in Tupelo, shot to stardom, went to the army, met Priscilla, had his 68 comeback special, did the Vegas tours, and that was another comeback. And then Elvis took drugs and was unfaithful, and then they divorced. That's the story we're told. Yeah, we all know that isn't correct. And then so we are spoon-fed as the public that all these girlfriends didn't even happen. Do you agree with that, guys? We're spoon-fed that it was just Elvis and Priscilla. Oh, and by the way, Priscilla was still alive when Elvis died. That's how we're made to feel, that she was his widow, and that she still loves him to this day. He's the love of her life, even though we all know that she's had 15, 20 serious boyfriends. So you get where I'm going, guys. You get where I'm going. Let's read some of your comments. So I'm waffling on a bit, guys. Let's have a look. So Helen, Paul Riley's had to deal with Michael Lockwood's demands. Yes, we know about that. And I'm going to cover that on a live stream, the Michael Lockwood stuff. I don't think Elvis would like it, and I don't like the way that the Smiths are treated. So we need to give her some grace to grieve her mum. She has had so much stressful things thrown at her immediately after Lisa's sudden death. She could even speak at least. She couldn't even speak. Yes, and her husband spoke beautifully at that. But I definitely do give her grace. You know, Tracy, please don't take it the wrong way. I'm not speaking badly of Riley. I love Riley. I think she's great. But I still don't think we are quite right with the relationship between Riley and the fans. I think we're not there yet. And I do understand what you're saying. You're saying it's early days, which I agree. Totally agree. Right, so Gio, Tracy, the guitar strap was a great wink, and I have to watch. Yes, 100%. 100%. Let's keep going. Right, the bloodline will never be an issue. Riley has a child. Their holdings generate huge amounts of passion, monies for the three girls. Passion. I don't, Tracy. I don't really think you're getting my point. Now, remember, these are just my views. I'm not important. I don't matter. I'm not related. Elvis plays the Enterprises. Nothing to do with me. I have no connection to Graceland. My point is this. I'll keep it really simple. I don't like that non-family members like Joel Weishanker and Jack Sodden can stand up and speak on behalf of the Presleys. I don't like it. It should be Presleys speaking on behalf of Presleys. Shouldn't be complete strangers that are really only there for the money. They're only there for the profit. No other reason. This is my problem. This is my problem. So no, no, the bloodline has been sidelined. I'm not going to change how I speak or how I feel. We can disagree on this, Tracy, but that is how I feel. You know me, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. I'm not just going to keep my mouth shut. If Lisa didn't publicly speak up against business, why would Riley? If Lisa didn't publicly speak up against, why would Riley? Now, I'm not sure, Melissa. I'm not sure what you mean by that, because I'm not saying that Riley should speak up against Priscilla. I haven't said that. Could you just sort of go into it more? What you mean by that, Melissa? One night to Laverone was Lisa Marie's decision. Yeah, I've read about this. I've read about this. Yeah. Don't forget, Lisa Marie had an on-off relationship with Navarone. Sometimes they would get on well. Sometimes they wouldn't. I see Navarone as very damaged. I know that he's hated a lot, and he has a lot of people that are disgusted with the things that he says and does, and the different video clips that he does, and how he speaks about Lisa Marie. But he's a damaged kid. If you look back at Navarone's childhood, he's just a sweet little boy. You would just a normal young boy. Yeah. Now that boy, to get where he is today, you see how he looks, how he acts, his drug problems, heroin problems. This is a damaged kid. And I question why. Why is Navarone so damaged? Now, of course, we have to accept that Priscilla, as his mother, must take a certain amount of responsibility. Also, we understand that growing up in the spotlight can do damage. We've learned this from Benjamin. Yeah. So I don't have it in for Navarone. I think, my God, that poor boy has been so badly damaged, and it's ended up like this. That's how I see it. I actually feel sorry for the child in Navarone. Yeah. Now, Navarone as an adult has upset many of us with the things that he does and says, which is very sad. Let's have a look. So let's go that jump. Right, I'm catching up now, I think. The selling of 85% is now in the past. That will never revert to the Presleys. Riley loved her much, and I believe she will honour her mum's wishes and keep Graceland. But that isn't straightforward, Tracy. Now, the fact that it's in the past, to me, is irrelevant. Every single thing we do, almost, when we discuss Elvis Presley, going way back to the 50s, it's all in the past. But we are avid fans. We are here as Elvis fans to help protect Elvis's reputation, image, and legacy. Elvis fans are the most loyal fans. So the fact that it's in the past means nothing. If anything, it means more. To me, it means more, because we are grabbing the past and we're bringing our views to the forefront as fans collectively, not just on my silly little channel and on Team Elvis, around the world, around all of the things that are spoken about when it comes to Elvis and everything else, Elvis. So the fact it's in the past, no. And you say that it could never revert back. Well, I don't accept that. I think it's very unlikely. But no. Riley is a smart businesswoman. Who knows? Remember, Elvis Presley Enterprises has been sold twice. And both times a nice little backhander for Priscilla. So who knows? I wouldn't rule out that Riley couldn't put something together and have a takeover of Elvis Presley Enterprises so that she can regain 100% control. And the other thing that I say is, don't forget, I know that you say Graceland is owned by Riley. Well, it actually isn't. She owns the building, she owns the grounds, she owns the museum, but the business, the lease of Graceland has been sold to Elvis Presley Enterprises. They do have control of Graceland. They do have, they run Graceland. They run it, yeah? So any profit that comes, I think from what I can see from the tour, is going to Elvis Presley Enterprises. So obviously 15% still goes to Riley. So no, I'm going to say to you that actually, from a business point of view, in this very massive company, Elvis Presley Enterprises, they own Graceland. Riley is the landlord. Riley and the twins are landlords. They don't own the business. They have a 15% share of the business. So that will never sit right with me. Never. Sheila Ryan is worth a mention, as Ginger would be. He was infatuated. Yeah. All of the exes that Elvis that meant something to Elvis should be mentioned. I believe that. If they mentioned every girlfriend in the movie about Elvis, the movie would be a week long. Melissa, come on. I don't think they should mention every girlfriend. I think certain ones should be mentioned. Definitely Linda, definitely Ginger. 100% those two. You tell me, do you think, and in your comments, guys, do you think any other girlfriends should be mentioned? Let's have a look. God, you're doing a lot of comments this morning, guys. I might have to make myself another cup of tea. Let's have a look where we are. I want to read all these comments because I can tell that you guys are passionate. Let's have a look. Okay, right, let's have a look. Your comment is funny, Melissa. Right. Rebecca, isn't it interesting how people ignore that she has a pageant smile and talk about his head falling into a bowl of soup and people ignore the rest? Yeah, I think Melissa's talking about one particular interview where she says that she saved his life and she found him with his face in a bowl of soup. And I said this earlier, Melissa. Even the ex-girlfriends are saying things that really they shouldn't say. Just things that make him look bad. That take away his dignity. So I fully agree with Melissa that comment shouldn't have been said. 100% should not have been said. We have to remember that Elvis was somewhat immature when it came to his female relationships. He got bored very quickly and was enticed easily. I mean, I wouldn't call him immature, but I get your point. Yeah, he definitely did. It does seem like he got bored quickly, and he was always searching for the right one. Don't forget, Elvis also, the women also finished with him. Elvis wasn't the only one to break up a relationship. Sometimes it was the girlfriend that broke things off. I've seen some quite heartfelt interviews of Elvis breaking up with certain girlfriends, like June Junico and Anita Wood is just off the top of my head, guys. People that left Elvis, yeah. So, but I know that was further back, in the 50s. But there definitely were girls that left Elvis. I mean, the Linda one is a grey area on whether or not she left him or he pushed her out. Yeah. Even Ginger Alden, there are rumors that Elvis had another woman lined up and that she wasn't staying at Graceland and that she still wanted to go out and party and that they were apart. They were like worlds apart. I've got that on a Billy Smith interview. So I definitely wouldn't call Elvis immature. When I listened to Elvis's interviews, even way back in the 50s, yeah, he's very mature. He's a smart guy. He is very wise. And I actually think for such a young person, you listen to the way he talks. Yeah, there was a Elvis chatting on one of my about the loss of his mother. I'll tell you what, that isn't an immature person. That's a wise person. So I definitely would not put that word with Elvis. Let's have a look. Linda and Mindy apparently not allowed on the plane. Was it them two? Right. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. I heard about Linda. I wasn't sure about Mindy. And I like Mindy. I listened to Mindy's interviews. And I love the way that she talks about Elvis. And I think sometimes she joins our live streams, guys. So, Mindy, if you're ever watching, you are very welcome. Very welcome. And we loved her on Shauna's show, Tenderly Loving Elvis. She was great. We've got a lot of respect for Mindy, don't we, guys? Riley never should give him the money to Lisa. Not like Riley. Yeah, I do think Riley should have been tougher. I do think she was too generous with Priscilla. I'm also, obviously, you know, guys, that Priscilla should never have done that. She should have honoured Lisa Marie's wishes, 100%. Elvis wouldn't have given Ginger the pendant and that huge engagement ring. That is a promise of marriage. Elvis kept his promises. He must have seen something more in Ginger. Just my gut feeling. Now, remember, guys, I'm not against Ginger Alden. I think she's great. I think she's lovely. Yeah. But Elvis was very unwell. He had a lot of problems in that year. You know, the time that he was with Ginger, his life was horribly stressful, not just with the book, the tell-all book from the Memphis Mafia of Red West, Sonny West, and Dave Hebler, but also the divorce settlement. We've all learned together, haven't we, that divorce settlement was horrible, was cruel, almost evil. Yeah? You know how angry and upset we are about Priscilla's actions in that second divorce settlement that should never have happened. That really, in my opinion, she was not entitled to. She actually had to accuse Elvis of fraud and lying to get that divorce settlement to be allowed. So I'm disgusted. So my point is, when it comes to Ginger Alden, Elvis wasn't completely, how can I say it, 100% in himself. So very unwell, very sick, in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. He was definitely over-medicated, but he needed it because he was desperate, because he was trying to fix himself. He didn't know which way to turn. So he was taking whatever he could to try and get himself to feel better. And within all that, you've got the relationship with Ginger Alden. You've got the book happening, which massively affected him. The Red West conversation that Red West secretly recorded. So I don't think Elvis was in a good state of mind to decide, this is for Rosemary, to decide if he was actually going to marry Ginger Alden. Even the decision to get engaged with her. It's not straightforward, because you imagine he was on a lot of painkillers and he was on downers and uppers, as well as the medicines and steroids to ease his pain and to give him to comfort his body and to relax, the sedatives. So he wasn't completely all there when he was with Ginger Alden. Unfortunately, it's not a very nice thing that I'm saying. And this is why I have doubts with if Elvis really truly intended to marry Ginger Alden. That is my point. But I'm not putting her down. I think she's lovely. Yeah? Rebecca, it's no secret I'm not a Linda fan, so I get what you're saying. She annoys me. Melissa, look, come on, Melissa. We've discussed Linda many times, and Melissa has made me do a lot more research about Linda, yeah, and try to understand their relationship. 4.5 years. The first year they were together every day. Now, I've come to understand that Linda was unfaithful, that Linda did overspend. Linda did take advantage of Elvis. She has said things she shouldn't have said. I do agree with these points, Melissa. But I also see the good. She was really good to him. After his split up from Priscilla, I think there may have been another girlfriend, but after his split up from Priscilla, she was good for him. That 1 year they were together every day, she was good for him. She was. And I do believe, and I've watched so many interviews now with Linda, she did love Elvis. She did love Elvis. Yes, she also loved his money, and she loved spending his money. And I do think Elvis it seems to me like Elvis did get to a point where he didn't want her around, and may have even sort of allowed her to move out of Graceland. It was his way of getting away from her, from what I've read. Yeah, but they had a genuine relationship. She does love him. I think she still loves him to this day. She's one of the few people that when they say he was the love of my life, I do believe to a certain degree that Elvis was the love of her life. Not fully, because obviously she went on with her own life, which is very famous. Okay. Don't forget, she went on to have her own career, writing songs, and that she's a woman in her own right. And I do feel that when I watch Linda's interviews, and like we know she was at Elvis Week, she's very respectful of Elvis. So I don't have such strong negative feelings about Linda the way that Melissa does. I see the good, I see the bad. I know she wasn't perfect. She did make mistakes. Do I think she loved Elvis? Yes, 100%. 100% she loved Elvis. Now, with Ginger Alden, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it was a lot of infatuation because they weren't together long enough. 8-9 months, there was a 22-year gap. Come on, guys. Whereas Linda, the relationship went on much longer. So we know that the Memphis Mafia all liked Linda, and there'll be a reason for that. I see a lot of fans getting mad at Riley for not calling Priscilla out, etc. I was saying if Lisa didn't go up against her, I don't see why Riley would. Yeah. Do you know what? It's funny because it's the first time I've thought of this, Melissa, that Riley should call out Priscilla and call out her mistakes. Do you know, I need to do a video on that. It's a tough one, guys. It's a grandmother. You know, there's not many of them left. God, do you know what? I will say this, Melissa. I would love it if Riley brings up the wrongdoing of Priscilla. I would. Because I'd like that. Because Elvis was so unfairly treated by Priscilla on a few different things. Well, more than a few. On many, many things. I'd love it if Riley had this in her book. Yeah? Is it October the 15th? It's coming out. So, do I think Riley... Ooh, it's a tough one, guys. Do I think Riley should confront Priscilla? Oh, God, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say. Yeah, I think I do. Guys. But that would cause a rift. That would cause massive public argument. Do the public really want to see Riley and Priscilla arguing? It's a really good point, Melissa. It's a really good point. Right. I'm sure Linda could write a book about her life and Bruce instead of always talking about her 4 years with Elvis. Colleen, she probably has, hasn't she? Has she not written a book about her and Bruce? Come on, these people have made it their jobs. They've made it their jobs. I'll be honest with you, Colleen, I'm just me, Louis, the fan at home. I'm quite happy that Linda talks regularly about Elvis. I had no problem with her being at Elvis Week. And I watch many of Linda's interviews, and I like what she says about Elvis. I like it. So I personally don't have an issue as a fan at home with Linda talking about Elvis. None. And 4 years is quite a long time. I think it's 4.5. It's a long time, guys. So she will know a side to Elvis that us will never know. Yeah. So the fact that she wants to share that, okay, she makes money for doing it. I'm glad because we get to learn a lot more about Elvis from Linda's point of view for their time together. Don't forget all the bloodline. This is Lorraine. Don't forget all the bloodline, Louis. Right? Riley is her daughter. Tupelo and the twins are filling her, but that's the Presley's bloodline. Riley's daughter is also Elvis's great granddaughter. Yes. Oh no, I don't. I definitely won't forget them, Lorraine. 100%. Lafayette Cohen. In her book, she said that she walked down the wedding aisle to Bruce and an Elvis song. Okay. Melissa, so true. It doesn't make good business sense to trash talk the family members in the media. Keep it behind closed doors. Meghan Markle comes to mind. Yeah, it's a tough one, guys. I think Priscilla and Riley should have a feud. No, not really. Not really. It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I think if Riley did stand up to Priscilla, I think the Elvis fans would cheer. But is it the right way to go? Don't know. Lorraine Roberts. People need to understand that Riley's brother and mother are buried in the meditation gardens. It is going to take time. It's only been not even 2 years since Lisa Marie passed her mother. I agree. It's still very fresh. Still very, very fresh. Geo. Yeah, okay, right. Let's have a look. Are we catching up? Guys? I haven't even been able to play the rest of my clip. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. So, I want to make sure I read all your comments, guys, because if I miss certain comments out, then I think it's a bit unfair. So I'm not in a rush, guys, because the kids are at school. So I can go through all these comments. Sometimes I've got to rush a bit because the kids. Let's have a look. Right, I'm catching up. Let's have a look. Lorraine Roberts, it was much easier for Lisa to take the reins. She was 9 years old when her dad died, and she was allowed to have her life and have her children away from her father's legacy and have her own career. Don't forget, at 25, Lisa Marie allowed Priscilla to carry on running things. So I think up to that point, everything was probably going well. Yeah? Wasn't it after that this stupid decision was made to sell off Elvis Presley Enterprises, in my opinion? Tracy, she said Bruce was a secure man. She sounds like an obsessed fan, not someone who respected and loved it. Oh, no, she did. She loved Elvis. I don't care what anyone says. She loved it. Come on. When she was with him, he was looking great. He was the sexiest and most charming. How could you not love him? I can't see comments, but Danny Smith said someday they might write a book. I wish they would, and tell all, especially. Yeah, and I'd love to see a book from them, 100%. Don't forget, even the Smiths made mistakes, guys. We're not all like exonerated here as angels. Yeah, there's been. The Billy Smith story isn't straightforward. I'm a Billy Smith fan. I love his channel. I love his son's channel. I mean, I love Danny's channel. But come on, guys, it isn't black and white. It isn't black and white. I've watched a lot of footage with Billy Smith, and it isn't straightforward as everyone thinks. I know that he has a massive following, so there's more to it. Riley took over the reins just after her mother died. I'm not 3 before after losing her brother. It's going to take some time. On top of that, she had a family. Yes, I agree. Lorraine, 100% agree with you. Yeah, Tracy has a point. Bruce Jenner, a secure man. Yeah, okay. I hope that Riley does not take anything out of the book. Lisa, ex-husband, should not get any money from Lisa's. Yeah, I keep hearing about these 100 pages that may have been removed. Many are saying that they weren't, but who knows? Not to mention, her grandmother is not exactly being supportive, taking her to court after losing her mother. It was despicable and very poor taste. Priscilla only concern and Grace. I agree. Come on. Not one Elvis fan on the planet is happy that happened. It was a stupid, despicable is a great word, thing to do. A very greedy, self-centered thing to do from Priscilla, 100%. What's up, Lorraine? Riley has had to take a lot on her plate, being a young mother and wife and career, losing her brother, then losing her mother and grandmother. Take it for court. Yes, definite, 100%. Melissa, hi. Nurse Tish says he called her crying, asking why he couldn't find a woman to make him happy. So that's true. If that's really sad and shows these women weren't the real deal. Okay, Melissa, I get that. I know what you're saying. Elvis usually got to a point with the different girlfriends and wanted to move on. Sometimes had 2 or 3 going at the same time. Elvis, don't forget, he loved company. I think he did look, he was a searcher. He was looking for love in different places. He was. So I don't think Elvis ever really found the love that he was searching for. I think, didn't he, was he trying to find the impossible? Was he? With the hacker trying to take Graceland, you can be assured that Graceland is in safe hands controlled by Riley. She will not let anything happen to that house with mother and brother. She's massively proved how smart she is, Riley has. She dealt with the scammer easily. Rebecca, I think Anita is one of the few that actually truly loved him. Yeah, she definitely loved him, 100%. Yeah, but it was in the 50s, guys. In the 50s, so long ago. But, they had quite a long relationship together, and we know that Gladys liked her. Her interviews are beautiful. When you listen to Anita's interviews, the way she speaks about Elvis is lovely. A strong-minded lady that wasn't going to be treated badly by Elvis. I meant not mature. When it comes to picking the right woman, all right, this is Tracy. When it comes to picking the right woman for him, looking behind the pretty face, as nice as his girlfriends were, they must have been missing something for him. Yeah, I think that's right, Tracy. The second divorce settlement was just pure greed. I know. It drives me mad. Lorna, it drives me mad. Riley paid her grandmother off, granted her mother wishes by taking control of Graceland and finishing her mother's book, which would have been very painful to her to be able to do. Thanks, Lorraine. Riley has been very prudent in her decisions since Lisa's passing. Yes, she's handled things like an expert, like a proper businesswoman. She has. I didn't bring Linda up. She was brought up. Yeah, don't worry, Melissa. I brought her up because that's... I find that with our live streams, they unfold. So I may start off with one topic like this. I started this live stream to talk about, we were going to go through a documentary together. And in the end, we haven't. It's different. So that's good. I don't mind that. That's great. Have some sympathy for Riley. Her mother's death, her brother, her death, her grandmother taking on to court, finishing her mother, being a young mum and a wife and a career. Yeah. She's gone through hell. Come on, let's face it, guys. Right. Melissa, right. Gio, Melissa, if Elvis expected a woman to make him happy, that could have been the issue. In relationships, it's always wrong to expect someone else to make you happy. You should make yourself happy. Oh, I wish it was Gio. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. Before I met my wife, I'd had quite a few girlfriends, and come on, we do look to our partners to make us feel whole. Do any of you feel that way? We look to our partners to make us feel whole. I'm no relationship expert, guys. But if you get a wrong one, you're in trouble. I don't like the fact that Joel Weishaker and Jack Sodden own 85% of Elvis Presley's song, image, likeness, and name, and that is because Priscilla had management. Maybe one day. I agree with you, Lorraine, but I will say this, Lorraine. If you look at the facts and you break it down, you look at the sell-off, Lisa Marie was involved in it. I'm not going to whitewash anyone. Lisa Marie, from what we did a live stream on this last week, Lisa Marie was involved in that decision with to sell off way back to Bill Silliman. So it isn't straightforward. It isn't straightforward. But do I also blame Priscilla? Definitely, 100%. It was all about getting a massive amount of money. A massive amount of money. No, I personally think, yes, I completely understand that Bill came along with these massive expansion plans, but he did also buy the Presley name. He did, and he took on the lease of Graceland, which I don't like. I don't like that they got this, and then obviously when it was sold, because Bill Silliman got in trouble. Is it Bill? I keep calling him Bill. Bob Silliman, Robert Silliman. Yeah. Years down the road, when Bob Silliman, it all went pear-shaped and he went bust, then Joe Weishanker and his team come along and jump in and grab it all. I think for a bargain, for an absolute bargain. And because of it, now we have to stand there every year at Elvis Week and listen to Joe Weishanker speaking on behalf of the Presley family. I just don't like it. Do not like it. Just because he had money. Someone having money shouldn't be the reason they speak on behalf of the Presley bloodline. That's my opinion. I don't think Elvis would like it either. Elvis doesn't want a complete stranger talking on his behalf about his home and his possessions. Elvis doesn't want a complete stranger to own all his possessions. I know that Riley still owns Graceland and she still is the owner of all of Elvis's possessions. But are you getting my point, guys? Elvis would be horrified about she revealed. I bet even Lisa was angry about the stories. So then we got Rosemary. Louis, time doesn't mean much. I dated my husband for 7 months and we've been married 53. Now, Rosemary, listen to this. I got engaged to my wife after 3 months. 3 months, and we've had 5 children. 5 children. Yeah? I understand exactly what you're saying. But Elvis was 42. Ginger was 22. Just 22. Yeah? Elvis was having a very, very horrible year in 77. Yeah? We've mentioned it. The book, his chronic health conditions, the divorce settlement, the second one. He wasn't clear-headed in that year. He was not. Late 76, 77, he was not clear-headed. Everything was cloudy. So I don't accept that it was all hunky-dory with Ginger Alden and Elvis. I don't accept it. Right, let's have a look. Amazon delivering my book on the 8th. Cool. Cool. I hope my book comes soon as well. Let's have a look. Right. Right. I'm gonna try and catch up with these comments. I do have to shoot off, but I'm determined to read the rest of these comments. Let's have a look. Here we go. So Lorraine says maybe Riley can buy it all back after Lisa Marie bought the Lisa Marie aeroplane book back. Vernon sold that and he shouldn't have it. Jack and Joe sold their shares one day. Yeah, but unfortunately, Lorraine, the reason it's very unlikely is because we're talking billions of pounds here. Billions of pounds. It's not. It's almost definitely not going to happen. Let's have a look. We need to support Riley and give her time and space. She's not support from Greedy Granny and the twins. She'll probably be promoting her mother's book. Yeah, 100%. I want to support Riley. 100%. And the twins. Come on, the bloodline is important to me. And we need to be grateful that Riley finishes for her mother's book. We will get to hear from Lisa Marie Presley once more. And we owe Riley a great deal of thanks. For her mother's, but 100%, big time. But I will say this, guys, If you think that Riley Keough's book is going to be all about slagging off Priscilla, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. If you guys have raised your hopes that that book is going to just slag off Priscilla, I think it's very unlikely. I don't think that's her personality. I don't think that's her nature. We'd love her to share some juicy gossip about Priscilla, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I could be wrong though. I asked Memphis Mafia if they would come to the UK and write, Memphis Mafia Kid, if they would come to the UK and write a book, and they said they were thinking about coming over to the UK, and never say, yeah, we'd love that. Our Elvis team should write a book all about the lies everyone has said. Yes, I agree. Let's have a look. I need to jump ahead, guys, otherwise we're never going to catch up. I'm still going to play that last couple of minutes of that interview as well. That's the saddest fact in Elvis's life, the inability to sleep and be on his own. What a lifelong insecurity he struggled with. I would imagine it stemmed from his being an outcast as younger. It is very sad, but I'll tell you what, not being able to sleep and the fear of being alone, don't many of us suffer from that? Many of us. It's you know, do they use the word now, anxiety? Yeah. And do any of us want to be on our own? Come on, be honest. We all do. And any of us in relationships on here watching now, come on. We want to be with someone. We don't want to be alone. Do we have sleepless nights? Of course we do. Of course we do. We're all humans, not just Elvis. It was I think it's a pretty common thing even now in 2024. The Smiths said at the time that it was a real toss-up between Priscilla and Anne Margaret, and Priscilla was still jealous of Anne, I believe it. Yeah, I don't blame her. Look how beautiful Anne Margaret was. But Elvis was never going to end up with a career girl. I love Anne Margaret. I love the way she talks about Elvis. I love their relationship. But Elvis wasn't going to end up with a career girl. He wasn't going to. That wasn't what he wanted for, to settle down with and have kids with. He didn't want his girlfriend running around the world making money in movies and singing and dancing and the attention that came with that. It's not what he wanted, in my opinion. I don't know. Right, so Mrs. G, at least Elvis Presley Enterprises cares about Elvis's legacy. I will say this, Mrs. G, is that a you and you person to our channel, Mrs. G? Joel Weishanker does come across as a good guy. He does. He comes across as someone who cares. He obviously loved Lisa Marie, obviously loved Elvis, and he wants to do the right thing for the twins as well. I think we're lucky that it's him. I definitely agree with that. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But some will say, why is he allowing the Smiths to be outed? So not everything Joel does is right. Some will say Joel has made some mistakes, even on some of the people that attend Elvis Week. So he isn't 100%. And I will say this, unfortunately, because it's a business, Joel Weishanker and his little team, it's always about profit. It is. Whether we like it or not, it's always about working out a way of making more money. Not everyone is happy about the tours, these VIP tours. Many are saying that they're very expensive and Elvis wouldn't have liked it. Elvis wouldn't have liked the fans being charged these massive amounts. Is it $6,000 per tour, $1,500 per person? I get what you're saying, Mrs. G, but it isn't straightforward, yeah? But I can tell Joel's a good guy. I'm not against Joel Weishanker, yeah? He saw an opportunity. It was an amazing deal. I think he got an absolute bargain for his money. So, come on, guys. Money, I agree. Right, this is Mrs. G. I agree with the price also. I'm just saying they have to protect Elvis' legs or they won't make money. Yeah, Yeah, that's a good, Mrs. G. That I agree. They have to look. They have to look after the business interests so that things carry on. But come on, the fans do that, Mrs. G. The fans do that. The loyal Elvis fans, and you know there's millions. Isn't it the second most visited um, tourist attraction in the world? It's going to be fine. Don't worry about the Elvis legacy. Now, we as fans...
It is. It was one of the films I watched before I finished.
I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to let the dog out because I can hear him barking. I'll just be a second.
This movie.
I know. I watched it as a child. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not like a lot of Sasquatch research to do, so that was one of
To
them.
dive in.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly on YouTube, there's a lot of Sasquatch
there's a lot of people
footage in the wild, so that was helpful.
Okay. I have a lot of trail cams up on my land. I've never seen a Sasquatch, just letting you know. So what was it like to be in that role? Like, you had to do some kind of prep, though, I hear. Like, for movement?
We did Zoom prep at first, which was funny. And that was just sort of getting the hang of the Sasquatch walk. And
now, how does one know how a Sasquatch walks?
It's a good question. We sort of based it off there's a famous 1970s video of a Sasquatch sighting, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like he's walking through the
black and white, and they have
and then he kind of looks over his shoulder, and it's like it's kind of what the shape that all the Sasquatch stuff, like if there's a pin or a hat and they're walking, it's the sort of like position they're in. So we took that and worked backwards from that, and that became that sort of famous video, and that became the walk that we were trying to do. And then we went into like what we call a Sasquatch boot camp.
I love your job.
I know, it's really interesting. And so we did like 2 days with a movement coach, and he would basically teach us how to interact with one another, like it was a lot of watching videos of apes and kind of moving like apes would move, and then learning to eat, learning to like interact and touch each other and do all these things, and then after about a day of that, we put our costumes on and did it. Yeah, which was a whole other.
This is the greatest picture behind the scenes ever in any movie.
I will say, and maybe this is a spoiler, but my boobs do change size. The boobs do change size in the movie.
So wait, what is the storyline?
It's about it's just like a family of Sasquatch. It's actually like so touching and sweet and sincere, and of course it's funny.
Oh man, I'm gonna cry. I'm one of those people that watches these things and balls.
Yeah, it's like obviously hilarious and has moments that are totally absurd and wild, but it's really at the core like very touching and sweet and emotional, actually, which was why I loved this movie so much.
All right, I like your other series, because one job isn't enough. Our project is Under the Bridge. So what's it about?
Under the Bridge is a series we have that is streaming on Hulu right now, and it is about the disappearance of a teen girl in Canada. It's a true story. In the 90s, and sort of...
It's a horrific story.
It's a horrific story. Yeah. It was very famous in Canada, not as known here. And so it's basically exploring that incident through the eyes of a police officer who's played by Lily Gladstone and a novelist who is played by myself.
Yeah, it's such a hardcore story. You're executive producer as well, right? So how did you pick this project? It just seems so intense, the story, especially like having kids. Like,
it's very, definitely. Well, it's funny because I'm not somebody, it is by genre true crime, like it is a true crime show, but I was a little bit hesitant to do that genre. It feels like it can be exploitive to me, and I was a little bit apprehensive, and then I met with the creators, and we just had really amazing conversations, and it's has much more, there's themes that are explored in this genre that are not typically explored in this genre, and that was interesting to me, and conversations that are had that are more complicated than you usually see in true crime, and the characters are, they're all human beings. The victim Rena Verk is honored beautifully. It's everyone's like a fully realized human individual, and so that was, it just felt different. It felt like something I'd never seen in true crime before, kind of.
Yeah, that's very cool. You mentioned Lily Gladstone.
Yeah.
And I heard that y'all became friends over like a DM.
Yeah,
That's 2024.
I know. It's like it's funny. I followed her because I was a fan of hers. Like, I just think she's a wonderful actor, and then we would DM or respond to each other's stories for years, and she would post things on and I would heart them or like them or whatever, and we would kind of talk back and forth, and I'd always wanted to work with her, and I was such a big fan of hers, and so when this came up, she was kind of the first person that we all thought of for this character, and she was perfect for it, and we were just very lucky we got her.
Yeah, it's a super cool friendship, like how it started.
It's always had a huge impact on me. I want to write, I want to sing, I want to do the same thing for others. Have my music.
Right. Well, I might play that for you guys. I wonder if it lets me do it.
For others one day. Not realizing.
Let's pause it. Oh no, it's 40 minutes long. I think I might watch that, and then we'll come back to it. Yeah. So anyway, guys, we've been on for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. It feels like 10. Thank you, everyone, for joining me this morning. The video took a different turn, so we ended up having a very long, detailed discussion. Mrs. G is, I think, a new person. Are you new? Have you been on our live streams before? Please introduce yourselves. How long you've been a fan for? Where are you from? What country are you in? You're very welcome to join Team Elvis. Thank you, Team Elvis, for joining in this morning. We've had a great morning. I always enjoy my mornings. I find them quite relaxing. We can have a coffee together and just chat. Tracy, I specifically want to say to you that I respectfully disagree with things. Please don't take it wrong. If I've offended you in any way, I apologize. I only have love for Tracy. Me and Tracy been doing these live streams together for a long time now. So anything that I disagree with on any people, it's always done from love and respect. So please don't take it the wrong way, Tracy. So thanks, guys. I'll read these last couple of comments, and then I'm gonna have to shoot off. I'm gonna do some exercise, go for a run, and take the dogs for a walk, stuff like that. And then I'm gonna come back in a few hours, and we'll do another one. Let's have a look. I see that apparently the producer has changed his mind about involving Priscilla. Heard someone say, are we talking about the Netflix Elvis documentary? Well, I hope so. The last time I tried to write to Joel, he stopped taking them. He was getting a lot of backlash about Priscilla. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great day, everyone. We'll come back in a couple of hours and we'll do another one. I'm going to probably watch the Lisa Marie interview that's just popped up there. We might come back and do Lisa Marie. We'll see. Let's just see what happens. I do want to also go through some documentaries with you. So, yeah, I was on before and you made a video from my comment last week. Right. Oh, brilliant. Yes, Mrs. G. Thank you. Yes, I do remember you now. Brilliant. Thank you for joining in on our discussion this morning. It's been interesting. All of you, have a great day. I'll see you all very soon. I'm out of it. I'm going to walk the dogs. So you take care, guys. Thank you to everyone. Love to everyone. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. See you later, alligators.